and allowing some sort of melee between the two. Who does the news media side with? Do they say that the gangbangers would have never attacked Donald Trump if he didn't heed their warning and stayed out? Will they actually find a way to side with the criminal element against Donald Trump? Would that be the message that they want to go forward in the midterms with? Now, thinking the way that I do, I don't want anybody to think that I'm crazy here. This is just Reese thinking. I'd send them in. Now, I know you say, well, Reese, you're sending them into harm's way. Isn't that the problem? There are citizens already in harm's way, aren't they? What is the purpose of sending the National Guard in the first place? What was the purpose of sending them into D.C.? Because people were dying in the streets. People couldn't go there. Businesses were suffering. Restaurants, other businesses, with the threat of having their lives and their livelihoods taken from them. Why did they put the military in harm's way? Because the places had gotten out of control. So if now you're saying that because people are openly threatening the Trump administration and threatening armed service members by saying, if you come to our town, we'll hurt you, you think that the response to that should be, oh, they've threatened us. Let's heed their warning. After we changed it to the Department of War, then we should say, okay, you know what? Maybe they're serious. We'll sit this one out. Maybe I'm crazy, but I look at that as an invitation. I'm just saying. It tells me that the lunatics have overtaken the asylum. And the governor and the mayor have sided with them. It's incumbent upon me to get there and say, look, the citizens are a great threat, great risk. By the people that they've hired to protect them and to serve them. And the community is complete. I mean, they're under fascist rule, aren't they? Armed animals with guns who will shoot and kill people with no regard. And the President of the United States and the National Guard are going to sit back because someone says, if you come here, we'll hurt you? Oh, you know what they're saying. They said they'll kill him. And you think that we should, as a President of the United States, he should sit back and go, no? And the news media would then respond to that by saying, you should have listened to the criminals? You should have listened to the gangbangers? You should have heeded their warning and not gone out there? Somebody square that circle for me. Come on. That's how bad it's gotten? Hate a guy all you want. Say whatever you want about this administration, all you want. But if it gets to that point, if it gets to the point where the media can twist itself in a way that one of these stupid panels with Lauren Phillips or Abby Phillips, whatever her name is, or MSNBC with Rachel Maddow, looks into the camera and tells the American people, you know, Trump should have listened to the Ace Trays or the Third Block warlords. I don't know what their names are. I'm sorry. I'm spitballing here. I'm coming up with names. These are the gangs that I would come up with. But nonetheless, do you think that they would actually look into the camera and say that? That the President of the United States, the man with his finger that close to the button, the leader of the free world, I mean, that he should heed the words of some dude with a tattoo on his face and a gold tooth? That's the guy he should be fearing? 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Ralph. Hey, Ralph.
How you doing, Reese?
What's up?
I have a great idea, Reese. You may or may not agree with it.
Okay.
All these criminals that they're talking about, that ICE is catching them, I think we ought to divide them up equally among Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, California, Illinois, and transport them to these states that love them so much.
You want to transform the whole state?
No, I'm saying take these criminals
Uh-huh.
and transport them to the states.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to put more people in harm's way with half of these maniacs. I mean, look, I'm with all due respect, I know a lot of these older folks who are running around with the signs saying that Donald Trump is being a fascist. These folks never have to walk through the neighborhoods that they claim that they're trying to protect. They never will. And if they were to see any one of those folks, they would cross the street. They would act like, oh, don't hurt me. They would pretend. They live in a very, very safe space that they don't have to worry about the consequences of their picket signs. So that's why I ignore them, because they're not only silly, they're irrelevant.
Well, there's an old saying, Reese, that I personally firmly believe in, the old Indian saying, you never judge another man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins.
That's right.
And I would like to see these quote-unquote white liberals take a walk through the streets of Chicago 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
And see what happens to them, and they might have a totally different view on what's going on. And as far as the gangs talking about going after the National Guard,
yeah,
you know what that would be like, Reese? That would be like you going after the entire state of California saying, I'm going to get you.
If the word gets out, because I know that, social media has a way of sort of creeping its way into the news cycle. But from the videos that I saw, eventually people are going to start talking about it. And the question's going to be, should Donald Trump heed the warning of gangbangers? And I think it's a fair question to ask. Should he heed the warning of gangbangers who are sounding very similar to the governor and the mayor of Chicago? So,
Reese, what that tells you is the gangs are running Chicago. Mm-hmm. The gangs are running the cities. The gangs are running some of those states. Mm-hmm. Not the government, the gangs.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. Thank you, buddy. That's the biggest problem. And I think that's the point that a lot of people have to look at with all of this, is that the gangs have become so powerful, or at least in their minds, they have become so powerful that they can threaten a president about intervention into their city. And I know that there are a lot of, grandstanding types online who think that their point of view is the most important. Like that guy recently has said that, was it J.D. Vance should be impeached? And J.D. responds, said, I don't give a damn what your opinion is. He said something more colorful. But that's the whole thing. I mean, I know these people are grandstanding thinking that because they put it online and because it's on video and they show their face, that sort of amounts to something. But in the end, should it come to that, I think that the president should take them up on the offer. I mean, if you watch that video that's online, I might even post it, of that young man who went through the streets of Chicago hanging out with guys just walking around with guns, walking through the street with all types of guns, just illegal weapons. This is not like going to Texas. This is not like going to Oklahoma. These are young kids smoking weed, drinking, and just walking around pointing guns at each other. Talk about responsible gun legislation. But yeah, just walking around, pointing at each other, talking about, oh, I got shot 3 times. Or I got shot 9 times. I got shot 5 times. I got shot yesterday. That's what's going on. And you don't think the president should intervene? And you're walking around telling everybody, nah, we're good here. Everything's fine. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we got to take a break. Oh, that's bad news. The View is back from hiatus. Great. You have to start talking about them again. I was having so much fun this summer not talking about them. You know what? I won't talk about them. I don't care what they were talking about on The View. Anyway, we'll take a break. We got more news, more views. What do we got coming up in the next half hour? Oh, yes, the day. Stand by for that. I've got to talk about that. We had Representative Greg Howard on the show yesterday. We're going to talk about the response to David Collins' article by the editor of the day. Turns out that she is a Hispanic woman, a Latina woman from the Bronx. Her words, not mine. The Bronx. Ugh. And also in Hollywood news today, I review the new Denzel Washington Spike Lee joint, The Highest to the Lowest. So stand by for that as well. We'll take a break. Also, don't forget, we're doing Monday Night Football. I've got the Vikings against the Bears, and Roland is taking the Bears in the first Monday night game tonight. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Do you have a dark curiosity? Heart Starts Pounding, Horrors, Hauntings, and Mysteries is a weekly podcast hosted by me, Kaylin Moore. Each week, I'll take you on a dark journey through terrifying true urban legends, bizarre true crime cases, chilling tales of backwoods horror, and more. So if you're looking to join a passionate community of the darkly curious, check out Heart Starts Pounding on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, stay curious.
Yellow Home Services believes when you support your neighbors, the local community gets stronger. That's why we've partnered with Food Share for the last 15 years, donating over 20,000 pounds of food and more than 1,000 turkeys. When you call Yellow, you're helping those in need as well. Help make a difference when you call, click, or text today and say hello, Yellow. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776888, S104134487, D1040145, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insured.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
70 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. High in the low 70s, low around 50 tonight. The foreign minister of South Korea is on his way to the U.S. to finalize steps for the return of hundreds of workers detained in a controversial immigration raid in Georgia. Last week's raid on a Hyundai battery factory led to the detention of almost 500 people, mostly South Koreans, many seen in shackles. Their shock and anger in South Korea, a U.S. ally, billions of dollars in investment in the U.S. could be in jeopardy. Palestinian attackers opened fire on a Jerusalem bus stop during the morning rush. 6 people were killed, 12 wounded. CBS's Courtney Keeley.
The 2 shooters were shot dead on the scene. This took place near Hebrew University on the outskirts of Jerusalem at a bus stop. Very reminiscent of years ago of many bus stop shootings, and this was the worst attack in several years.
Israel struck and destroyed another high-rise in Gaza City after warning residents to evacuate. The military says it was targeting Hamas observation posts and bombs. Doctors are concerned with Florida's decision to phase out childhood vaccine requirements. Dr. Celine Gowder is a CBS News medical contributor. She says Florida didn't do its own research.
This is alarming. If you're going to make a big change in policy, any kind of policy, whether it's public health or not, you should be making projections as to what will be the positive and negative impacts of that decision.
The widely admired Tom Hanks is among the least controversial celebrities, but a West Point alumni group is canceling an award for him later this month. President Trump calls Hanks woke, but Hanks has been a huge booster of the military, according to retired Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery.
Clearly, he has been a great contributor to the United States military. He was an obvious, qualified recipient for this award from the Alumni Association, and it's disappointing that they pulled the rug out from underneath this event.
Trump went on social media this morning to celebrate the cancellation of Tom Hanks. On Wall Street, the Dow up 27 points, S&P climbing 6 points, NASDAQ up 93. And we check the WTIC forecast.
Forecast pattern looking quiet here across the region for much of the upcoming week, though there could be some showers towards the coast on Wednesday. As we transition from this afternoon and into tonight, turning out partly cloudy, a cool one for tonight with a low 47. Lower 40s, though, for many outlying areas. Tomorrow, another beautiful day, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 74. Clouds will thicken up through tomorrow night, low of 53. And mostly cloudy for Wednesday, perhaps some showers towards the coast with a high of 71. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
70 now in Hartford. In sports, Red Sox at the Athletics on WTIC with the pregame at 9:05 p.m. Garrett Crochet on the mound. Mets in Philadelphia and Monday Night Football, Minnesota at Chicago. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 9/13. And save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Erectile dysfunction affects nearly 50% of men over age 50. But even with so many men affected, finding a trusted provider to treat the condition isn't so simple. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice, and I'm excited to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health in Warwick, Rhode Island. As a Promenic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health can offer men with ED the latest treatment protocols, which are shown in medical studies to be effective in well over 90% of men. And unlike groups that only offer wave therapy or online pharmacies that just sell pills, we offer a variety of treatments to help get you the results you want. You should also know that Northeast Men's Health is a true medical practice, which means our providers have access to a complete range of treatment options to get you back on track. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
If you have any sort of joint pain, you got to listen up. Whether it's from years of hard work or an old injury that never healed right, whatever it is, you can have it stop right now. I'm Brian Shackman here talking about QC Kinetics. You can flip the script. It's regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints. They don't cover it up. They don't cut it out. They're actually helping heal and restore. The results are long-lasting relief, and it's amazing. It's so busy here in Connecticut, they opened up a third office. So instead of planning your day around pain, plan it around life, whether it's walking, hiking, playing with your kids, whatever. QC Kinetics can do without surgery, without drugs. Okay, give them a call. That first consultation is totally free. So bring your MRI, your x-rays, and find out if it's something for you. 860-440-PAIN. Again, it's 860-440-PAIN. They're located in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. So give them a call. Chances are it's close to you. That free consultation, 860-440-PAIN.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Actual product and subscription
Thank you.
plan featured products or compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Hey, it's Steve Parker giving a salute to the broadcaster at 100. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back, Reese on the Radio. So I'm reading this article today, and as soon as I saw it, I went, oh, that's interesting. So the Day is actually responding. And I love it when a story has legs. For me, not just because I get to rehash it. Sometimes stories have too many legs. But this story had some legs, and I'm glad that there has been some resolution or at least a response to it. If you remember last week, we had on Representative Greg Howard of Stonington on the program. He is a police officer and a representative. And he got into this back and forth. Apparently, he had been in this back and forth with former The Day columnist David Collins. And Collins is an avowed liberal, if not a progressive, and hates the GOP, Republicans, especially Donald Trump. And there have been constant cases between he and Representative Howard for a long time. In a lot of articles. And the latest one, we finally got the rough draft of the article, and this one was about masked ICE agents grabbing people off the street. And Collins goes so far as to suggest that he's just grabbing, or ICE for that matter, not Donald Trump. ICE is just grabbing people based upon their skin color. Anyway, starting off your opinion piece like that just it reeks of not only being disingenuous, but incitement. And that's what it's supposed to do. Because, again, Collins here is outraged at that. And, okay, for whatever reason that is, he's a diehard. Okay, leave it alone. But he went on to tell everybody he was fired by email, as if to suggest that the credibility of the publication he worked for 45 years, his words, not mine. I guess he did work there that long. If he has, great. But the publication he worked for had lost its standards in firing him. How dare they? So the editor, the executive editor, who goes by the name of, and if I butcher her name, it is not on purpose. I've never seen this name before, and if somebody knows how to pronounce it, please help me. I'm going to try. It is Izaskun E. Laurenetta, or Laurenetta. I think that's how you pronounce the last name, but she is the executive editor. And this is what she writes. It's been an interesting week at the Day. By now, most of you have heard, either through phone calls, emails, radio, or social media posts, that the Day's longtime columnist, David Collins, who retired earlier this year, but has continued to write a weekly column as a freelancer, was fired by email. In the social media post, Collins said, quote, I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but it was a dispute over editing a column about Rep. Greg Howard of Stonington and his defense of the mass warrantless ICE raids in Connecticut. He also said he was ashamed of the newspaper he had been proud of, implying that our slight change to his column were we supporting the actions against immigrants. Let's briefly put a pin on this and allow me to reintroduce myself, she writes. My name is Izaskun E. Laurenetta. I was born and raised in the hood in the Bronx. To clarify, it's just the Bronx, sweetie. I lived in Parkchester. It's just the Bronx. I went to Stevenson High School. It's just the Bronx. My family was so broke, we couldn't even afford the BR in broke. Okay. We were not rich in the traditional sense, but we were rich in love, values, and most importantly, integrity. Staying firm in one's integrity is priceless. It's what helped me overcome so many challenges, including this one. I've been at the Day for 25 years, starting as a town reporter and working my way up to head of the newsroom as the executive editor. It's been an honor, but it hasn't been easy. One former editor half-jokingly told me that the hardest part of my job would be editing David Collins's column. And boy, he wasn't wrong, she writes. But it was my privilege to do that. So much that I nominated Collins, and he won the inaugural Connecticut Foundation for Open Government, Mitchell W. Perlman Freedom of Information Award, that's a long-ass name, for his outstanding use of the FOI law to uncover what was going on at the state pier in New London. I proudly presented the award to him. So let's get back to the Howard situation. I don't think being an opinion writer gives you carte blanche to say what you want if it's not balanced by facts. I don't think an opinion writer should be critical of anyone without giving the person the opportunity to respond. I'm not saying that you shouldn't write about it. That's not what I'm saying at all. I know some old school opinion writers and journalists have clutched their pearls at my opinion, or as I call it, a standard of fairness. I also think in this day and age, when the media is no longer trusted, we should give the people the opportunity to respond even if we don't agree with them. And if you think for a second, as a strong Latina woman who has raised a very Latino-looking young man, and I support the warrantless taking down of brown people by ICE agents, you could not be more wrong. I don't agree with any of it, but that's not the point, is it? No, it's not. Collins did reach out to Howard by email to get his thoughts. I personally encourage my reporters to reach out to the person in person or by phone. Email is usually the last resort. But hey, at least Collins did reach out. Howard's response was a missive, impossible to quote in its entirety. The price of the ink is way too expensive. Collins submitted his piece, but I thought, and my managing editor thought, it could use an additional quote from Howard's response to Collins in that story. It was just a single quote from Howard's response to Collins's inquiry. And that's where the point of contention plays out. Collins was offended that I had the, quote, audacity to add a quote without consulting him first. It's not like I'm his editor or something. She's actually kind of sassy. I like that. In fact, I hear that's her nickname. Here's another point of contention. Collins said he couldn't find the column and wasn't familiar with the system that he's been using for nearly a year. He's updated previous columns in the past, but for some reason he couldn't find this one. I'm going to take a step back and say this was also true. He couldn't find it and see the quote that was added. Ultimately, Collins decided to spike the article, in other words, just get rid of it and not run the column. That was Collins' decision, not ours, she says. What ensued after was unacceptable. Now, this is why I'm reading all of this. I wanted to give this whole thing context. I wanted to give it's just due. Now, before I read that paragraph, I need to take you back. You might remember back maybe a year or so ago when, what was her name? Rona McDonald, was that her name? The former head of the RNC was given a job at NBC. And in her first interview with Kristen Welker after she took over, Chuck Todd came on the air and ripped apart the brass, the front office at NBC, as did many others on the network. I mean, they literally went on NBC. Every show on MSNBC and NBC lambasted the hirers, their bosses, for hiring Rona McDonald. and nobody paid for it. Not one person got a citation. Not one person got a rip. Not one person got suspended. Nobody. How did they respond? They let her go because of employee backlash. Now, back to this article. What ensued after was unacceptable. Just like Collins, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of the emails he sent, but I can't tolerate disrespect or ill-founded accusations. I won't allow anyone to question my integrity, question the integrity of my managing editor, the integrity of the day newspaper, and its commitment to democracy. I hold everyone to high standards, including a well-respected retired columnist, she wrote. So that's what led to his firing. He sent an email, probably admonishing her, probably talking about how she wasn't true to her Latina culture. He probably said something that was disrespectful to her. And this is the crazy part, because I've dealt with this before. I'm not saying that she did, but I'm very familiar with the tone. So I'm speculating here. I will lay that out. But I have had people in political discussions, I won't call them arguments, discussions, say the famous line that has always made me laugh. It's almost identical to what Dr. McKinney said. But I had a white man, young white guy in his 20s, lean into me in the discussion of Donald Trump and said, how can you do that as a black man? Or something to that effect. And you're a black man and you supported him? And I looked at him and I said, did you even hear yourself? He was like, what? No, say it again. And he repeated himself. You support him and you're a black man? I mean, you don't hear that at all? You're not hearing that? His girlfriend had to jump in and go, yeah, sweetie, yeah. You sound racist. I went, listen to her. And that's probably what he did. I'm just saying, there's quite likely. But, look, editor of the day, if you're listening or somebody knows, you come on, let us know. We'd love to know. Because I believe that's the arrogance of people like this. I'm putting it out on the line as a white man. I'm out here trying to help your people. Why you would come after me? That's another white man who wants to take your people out of this country. How dare you side with him? How can you call yourself a respectable Latina? Or Latinx? Latinx. That's probably what he told. How can you call yourself one of your people? Oh, come on, you know it. I feel it in my bones. If he questioned her integrity, what do you think the integrity question was about? It's about her being a respectable Latina. Aren't you Latina? I'm sorry, I get a kick out of that. That's just me personally. We got to take a break. We'll come back. We got weather and traffic coming up. And we'll ask Mark Christopher, who's got the Monday night game as well. Stand by. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different.
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 55 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately. With a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare, you can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
You're listening to Leaf. And the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're almost at the top of the hour. We've got between rounds coming up, and we've got my really reluctant to talk about this story about Martin Luther King Jr. I'm trying to get Chad Jackson on the show, and I'll talk to you about the reason why I'm trying to do that in a bit. So stand by in a bit. Let's go to Fred before we take the traffic and weather. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. MLK Jr.?
Yeah, this is so I've been watching these videos for the last couple of days now. And what I watched was they have this streaming service called Tubi that my wife and I just bumped into, and they have these two documentaries. One I saw because a good friend of mine, C.L. Bryant, is in it. It's called Uncle Tom. Well, they produced the second one that came out, I guess, in 2022. I never saw. We watched it yesterday. And it goes into the civil rights movement and Black Lives Matter and Marxists. And then at the end of the documentary, which is about 2 hours long, it starts talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and at the end of the documentary, he goes, but that's our next series. And so I found out about this thing called the MLK Project. And Chad Jackson, who's the producer of this documentary, has been going all over the place. He was on Jason Whitlock's show a couple of times. He did like hours, like a 3-hour interview with him, talking about the roots of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as I'm going through this stuff, as he's playing it out, I'm reading everything along with it. Like as it's going on my screen, I'm researching all of this. And one of the things that I never knew about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is that he was not a believer in Christ.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't either.
I knew he was a Baptist, and Baptists are generally no good.
But
he wasn't the exceptional one.
Yeah, and once I learned that, and a lot of people don't know that. And it wasn't just something that was rumored. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote that. And
So
he wrote
was a
it
New World
twice.
Order freak.
Yeah,
Now,
he wrote
George,
it
real
twice.
quick, yeah.
Like at one point, he wrote it in 1949, but he wrote it again as he was actually like in the civil rights movement, was talking about the mythology. Like he was really like dismissive of people's, about their religious belief as it pertained to the resurrection of Christ. And I'm like, this guy is supposed to be a Christian minister?
If Christ be not risen, our faith is in vain. Yeah, well, he was probably a total fraud. Real quick, I have one more book for you, The Trial of Lloyd Jowers, Jowers.
Okay.
Trial of Lloyd Jowers, about the assassination. So his family sued, the Georgia State Police, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and a few other people in wrongful death. And they were convicted of killing him. I mean, yeah, and this Lloyd Jowers, that he owned the bar across the street from the hotel there.
Wow.
So
Oh, you know what?
conspired.
That's so interesting you mentioned that. You know what? I will look into that. Thank you so much. I got to get to traffic and weather. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always insightful, my friend. I appreciate you. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views than you can shake a stick at. Our good friend Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, just real quick, who you taking in the Monday night game? I've got Vikings, and Roland's got the Bears.
Got to go with the Vikings on that one.
Okay, all right, there we go. We're doing a little Monday night thing every week. I know you do it with Brian and company. That's for all the games. I don't have that much time. just doing Monday night.
Yeah, I had a bad week. 1-4. 2 of the game, the Pittsburgh Jets game and the Baltimore Buffalo game, I lost by a half point for each game.
Yeah, both of those games were close games.
Those people in Vegas know what they're doing. 2 games I lost by a total of 1 point.
Damn.
So
That's
not
horrible.
Off to a good start. 1-4. Here we go. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, the southbound side of I-91 delays 34 down to 32A and B. Again, a little slowdown down by exit 28, Hartford Weather Seal line. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got slow traffic, 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Looks real good, 291 through 84, 2 westbounds tied up, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound slowing, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84 to Waterbury, you got some slow traffic, 26 up to 25A, and again, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Newtown slowing 10 to 11. Southbound 95 New Haven tight, 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. After a comfortable afternoon across the region, our temperatures reach the 70s. We're in for a quiet forecast over the next couple of days. We will see more clouds towards the midweek as a coastal low brings some showers towards the coast. For tonight, turning out partly cloudy, and it will be cool, low 47, lower 40s, though, for many outlying areas. Tomorrow, Sunday to partly cloudy, pleasant day, high of 74. Increasingly cloudy tomorrow night, low 53, and mostly cloudy for Wednesday, high 71, showers towards the coast. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
71 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low around 50 tonight, sunny tomorrow in the mid-70s. Primary day is tomorrow in Connecticut. In just a few of the contests, New Haven Democrats will choose their candidates for the Board of Alders in 3 wards. Norwalk Democrats will choose a candidate for mayor from between Barbara Smith and Darlene Young. Current mayor Harry Rilling is not running for re-election. And in Oxford, Republicans will choose a first selectman from between incumbent George Temple and challenger Jeffrey Luff. Russia attacked a Ukrainian government building in Kyiv as it pounded the capital. A visiting ambassador from the EU says a cluster munition was used.
Yesterday's assault by more than 800 drones in the heart of the Ukrainian capital targeted not just apartments, but the main government building. Ukraine's prime minister posted a video from inside before showing some 60 foreign diplomats burnt out offices with charred debris. She says Vladimir Putin is openly mocking peace efforts. While President Vladimir Zelensky says Putin is testing the world, U.S.-led peace efforts appear to be going nowhere, and another Trump deadline for Russia to change course has passed. The president keeps blaming both sides, but said yesterday he plans to speak with Putin soon.
We're going to get it done. I have confidence we're going to get it done.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Supreme Court clears the way for federal agents to conduct sweeping immigration raids in Los Angeles. Conservatives on the court lifted a restraining order from a judge who barred agents from stopping people solely based on their race, language, job, or location. CBS News legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The California judge had put a hold on it, saying that it in fact violated people's Fourth Amendment rights to have ICE officers and federal government officials in Southern California stopping people with what she said was not reasonable suspicion, but simply based upon their race or what language they speak or where they are in Los Angeles.
Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have released the sexually suggestive birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein, which appears to carry Donald Trump's signature. Trump says he did not write the letter, and he's suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion after it broke the story of the letter's existence. Senator Richard Blumenthal is working with Republican John Kennedy of Louisiana to reintroduce the Better Care for Animals Act. It would strengthen federal enforcement of animal abuse laws. James Bias is with the Connecticut Humane Society.
When animal abuse enters the conversation, it's important to note that there is a link, and it's been established, a link between those who abuse animals, who also go on to abuse not only more animals, but people within their family and those around them.
They say Connecticut has seen a 37% increase in animal abuse cases over 2 years. New Haven schools have expanded their cell phone ban to include the high schools. Superintendent Madeline Negrone says it's improving attention spans.
I feel like this is a gift that I am giving our children. It is giving them the gift to disconnect, if even for just a few hours.
The audio from WFSB, there is some resistance from students who have after-school jobs or children and need to stay in touch. Americans are feeling much less confident about finding a job.
The New York Federal Reserve's monthly Consumer Expectations Survey revealed that labor market expectations dropped to the lowest level in the survey's history. Less than 45% of consumers that were surveyed believed they could find another job if they lost their current one, a substantial decline from the previous month and following a series of anemic monthly jobs gains this summer.
CBS's Jason Brooks. Unemployment expectations are up, with the perceived odds of losing one's job up more than 14%. Toy maker Hasbro says it is moving from its longtime location in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, to the Boston area. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 114, S&P was plus 14, NASDAQ was up 98 points to a record 21,799. In sports, Red Sox at the Athletics. It's on WTIC with the pregame at 9:05 p.m. Garrett Crochet on the mound. Boston in strong wild card position, as are the Yankees and the Mets. Mets in Philadelphia tonight. Monday night football opener, Minnesota at Chicago. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Life unfolds in ways you can never quite expect. A divorce, a death in the family, a personal injury. Each time you are left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
30 seconds. It's in a hurry? Order your storage container at eagleleasing.com or call 1-800-GET-EAGLE and we'll have it delivered on site like that. I'm Mike Eagle, and just remember, don't get stressed, get Eagle. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
Need a space shot? Rent one of our clean, dry, ground-level storage containers from Eagle Leasing today. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or check us out and get a quote at eagleleasing.com. I'm Brandon Eagle, and you see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
Here we go. Thank you.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I regret to inform you we have breaking news. For many of you, you will not know this name, but you will know the name they are associated with. It turns out that on Sunday at about 8:30 a.m., on the block of 9600, the 9600 block of Abaco Court. Police pronounced the death of a Mr. Dorian Johnson, who died of gunshot wounds in that area. Dorian, you may not be familiar with, but you will when I tell you that he is the man responsible for the term, hands up, don't shoot. Why is he responsible for that term? Dorian Johnson is the friend of Michael Brown, who was with him when Michael Brown was fatally shot and killed by Darren Wilson, the police officer, who had to kill him as he attacked him on the street back in, 2014? Yeah. That is what Dorian Johnson told the world when he was on camera, that Michael Brown turned around, threw his hands up, and said, "Don't shoot." A lie that then went around the world in a day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Dorian Johnson killed 1 mile away from the spot where Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson. Police were not involved. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Matt Benz has got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, look for delays on the southbound side of I-91 34 down to 32A and B, and again down by exit 28. If you're traveling northbound 91, easy ride Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84, it's slowing 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up into the tunnel. 291 through 84 moving well. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound in Middletown. You got slow traffic approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound, look out for some slow traffic now as you move between exit 27 and 26 in Cheshire on the westbound side of 84. If you are traveling eastbound side of 84 through Waterbury, that looks good. 84 eastbound Newtown slowing 10 up to 11. Traveling southbound on the Parkway, a little slow as you move into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven's tight 46, down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the Reese WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Gorgeous afternoon here across the region. We'll continue to see quiet conditions now for the next couple of days. Tonight, partly cloudy. It's going to be a cool one, low of 47. Cooler, though, for outlying areas. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy. Nice day for any outdoor plans. High at 74. Coastal low will come up the coast here for the midweek Wednesday, delivering a few more clouds to the area. Some rain towards the coast. Temperatures in the lower 70s. Otherwise, we're back to 80 as we head into Thursday. Right now, it's 71 in Bristol, 73 in Windsor, and 72 right here in Hartford. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Columbia Dental, we love to make kids smile. Our expert pediatric dentists specialize in children's dental care, making every visit fun and comfortable. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, September 27th at Bushnell Park in Hartford. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/CT Capital Area, and then we'll see you in Bushnell Park September 27th. WTIC News Talk 1080 is proud partner of the American Federation for Suicide Prevention Out of the Darkness Walk.
Slow, clogged, backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. License number HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com. That's ethos.com/radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We'll get to your phone calls in a second, but I'd get that breaking news because it was breaking news, but I got to do what I always do. It's that time. Let's announce that winner today. Barbara M. is in Bolton, and she today is the winner of the Between Rounds dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. If you'd like an opportunity to win, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. If you haven't won and you have, just do it again. Just put your name in there. Just go to reeseontheradio.com for your opportunity to win. I don't know if we're doing any other prize packets, but we will soon enough. I wish we could do that for, strictly like on the website for a lot of stuff, but, whatever. We'll get some other sponsors on at some particular point. We got everybody on this program now. Let's get to, I'll do this. Let me do this now. Let's go to Bob in Manchester. How are you, sir?
Reese, good morning or good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. What's up, buddy?
So I used to listen to Imus in the morning all the time.
Sure.
And 20 years ago, he was talking about thimerosal in vaccines.
Okay.
And he was on the radio talking with John Kerry about this thimerosal 20 years ago.
Okay.
And he got huge blowback for this. But him and his wife, I guess, what was her name, Deidre, they were huge advocates for getting these mercury-based, I guess they're mercury-based preservatives in the vaccines.
Yes.
About getting them out of this. I mean, this is over 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting that you say that. Can I play the audio for you that it's in question? Donald Trump posted it today, and it has set the internet and X posts on fire as soon as I mentioned it. By the way, the same thing is happening to this to this report that gang members are saying telling the Trump administration not to bring the National Guard to Chicago. By the way, that's just blowing up as I mentioned it. But let me play the thimerosal in vaccines real quick that you're talking about.
Show them the thimerosal ball, which we keep in a metal container because we're a little afraid of it, and it's a very fine powder.
This is thimerosal, which is labeled very toxic. Has cumulative effects, can cause damage to the kidneys, to the respiratory system, skin, to the nervous system. Specifically warns on here that it can cause reproductive and developmental toxicity, meaning that it can cause things like autism and other neurodevelopmental disorders.
So he's reading the thimerosal directly from its canister, like directly from its bottle, right? So then, just to make this point broader, he then starts grabbing vaccines in the room that in its box and reading the ingredients. Give it a second. I promise, Bob, I'll let you in there.
This is immensely toxic stuff. And this is what's in the vaccine. It's important to realize we're talking about a whole range of products. Vaccines are a big one because, of course, you're directly injecting it. For example, this is tetanus vaccine. This one expires. It's a little outdated now. In 2007, here's the thimerosal. 1 to 10,000 is a preservative. Perhaps the biggest one in the U.S., at least, that's for exposure to mercury is the influenza vaccine. Influenza vaccine is now recommended for all pregnant women, all infants, all children on a yearly basis. You're supposed to have last year's influenza?
understand that thimerosal is not added at the end. It's not like, well, that factory next year can make thimerosal free. Thimerosal, you either have to have a thimerosal-free factory.
Now, the son is the one who's showing, he's the guy speaking in the beginning. His father thereafter talks, Bob, right? But what makes this crazy, and I'll play it a little later, because I hadn't planned on playing it now, the father, who's been a physician, admits that he has been giving this to his patients for 35 years and never knew what thimerosal was.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, my understanding of mercury is that it is one of the most potent poisons there are to people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Our government's just poisoning us.
Yeah, again, it has set the world ablaze because with this argument that was made at the hearings, at the Senate hearings with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., posting this has to get a response. And the response is going to be what I got. Now, crazy enough, from Elon Musk's X, he has that new Gronk thing that you can ask. It's sort of like now people are using it as a search engine, myself included. Can I read this to you? This is going to make you laugh. This is how crazy it is. So I went on and says, okay, where's this clip from and who's in it? So it tells me that Dr. Mark Geyer and his son David Geyer are discussing thimerosal in vaccines. Geyer lists vaccines preservatives like thimerosal, formaldehyde, and aluminum as toxics, claiming they cause neurological damage. He explains that thimerosal allows cheaper non-sterile production at each manufacturing stage. Geyer notes thimerosal vials are labeled as poison due to its mercury content. It then goes on to say this. Mark Geyer, the son, says he has admitted, that's right, I apologize, this is the doctor. Dr. Meyer says that he's administered 2,000 Roem shots over 35 years in vaccines without knowing they contained thimerosal. The Geyers linked thimerosal to autism in a 2003 study, but their claims lack scientific support and have been debunked. So I literally asked Gronk, what does that statement mean? And it turns out, when I looked up what it means, that they've been, lack scientific support and has been debunked, it doesn't say that it was debunked. It just says that other members of the scientific community disagree with them. Not that there's been any scientific evidence to debunk it. It just means that the CDC doesn't agree. So therefore, that's what they're calling debunked. So in essence, they're saying that science is consensus.
Yeah, it's like a big consensus thing. Like oh well, most scientists agree that global warming is a problem.
Right.
So that's our policy.
Yeah.
And just because you got a bunch of scientists saying, oh well, there's no connection. Well, there's no study that says there's no connection.
Right. Exactly. We're not going to do the study.
If you're pumping mercury into everybody and little kids, little kids, because the smaller they are, the more they're affected by smaller quantities. Like I probably wouldn't be because I'm just a fat ass, but a little infant is probably not a lot more affected by that.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
And then there's a quantitative part of it too. So if they're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, 9 of these, 10 of these before they're even 5 years old.
Yeah.
How much of this mercury are they putting into their system?
Exactly. It's 100% right. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you, man. I was going to do it later, but I thank you for bringing it up.
Reese, you have a good day.
Thank you, man. You too. Another interesting part about that research that I did, it says CDC states thimerosal shows no evidence of harm in vaccines. Doesn't say it did a study. It doesn't. It doesn't. I look further. It says nothing here says that they did a study at all. At all. Let's go to Matt in Bristol. What's up, Matty-O?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
What's up?
Hey, can I talk to you nerd for a
Sure,
second?
let's go.
Okay, so you remember you're a Star Trek fan, right?
Yeah, I would call myself. I wouldn't call myself an aficionado. I'm a novice at best.
Okay, you know when they went back in time to defeat the Borg and they met Zephyr Cochrane, the guy that created warp drive.
Okay, no.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty simple analogy.
Okay.
You know, when they went back and met the guy, and he found out that there was all these statues about, he's like, I'm not that person. Like, I only did this for money. There was no altruistic. There was nothing that I just did it for money. But his legend, his what they thought of him was more important than the actual man.
Is it? Wait a minute. Is that the episode? Is that the movie from? Is that the first movie from the Next Generation crew where at the end the first aliens they meet are Vulcans?
Yes.
Okay, so I did see that movie. You're 100% right, because tell me if I'm right that the person they go back in time to go visit is played by the actor who recently glued his hand to a Starbucks counter. He was also in the movie Babe. Isn't that the guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, isn't he the guy who's like, that'll do, pig, that'll do? Isn't that him?
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
I don't know why his name is escaping me, but Rama will tell me who it is. But yes, I do remember that. That's right. It said that he was not the person who was talked about in the sort of like the folklore of him was completely fantasy. And he was just a guy who had done it for profit.
Okay, so I want to say the same thing about MLK Jr. Leave it alone, because the legend of the man is more important than the actual man.
I don't agree. I can't. Let me tell you why. I know. I'll put it this way. You probably haven't seen what I've seen. And I got to be honest. This is, again, let me put it this way. This documentary is going to come out. And a lot of people are going to see it. And a lot of people in this audience are going to see it. And if I don't talk about it, they have the right to call me a fraud. Because I can't, I'm sorry. I know. And I know that trust me when I tell you, I know that if I talk about this and if I start talking about this stuff to a level where members of the NAACP or Black Lives Matter and those folks, they're going to call me all types of names. But I'm sorry. The truth is, it's
not about that, Reese. It's about letting people believe what they need to believe.
Yeah,
even
but
if it's not true.
I'll put it to you this way. What if the myth hurt the people it was intended to help? What if the entire myth was all set out to hurt the people it meant to help itself? Because for me, look, this is the same thing I said about Black Lives Matter. And believe it or not, it turns out that Black Lives Matter may have come to fruition the same way Martin Luther King did, according to these reports. And I've looked at all of them. I checked every document. As this was playing in front of me, I researched it. I back-checked it. I literally fact-checked this guy as he was on TV, and he wasn't wrong about a thing. Everything he told us was told me was the truth. Everything.
Well, this is one of the few times I hope you are wrong.
You know what? I wish I were. I just don't think so. I think that I'm literally about to have my entire world rocked. I really do.
Okay, bud. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, man, as always. I know, again, it sounds horrible. It sounds horrible. But look, it's not just Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let me just go. Can I go one step further here? And I'll go in a place where everybody knows. Okay? And this, again, makes no sense to me. And it never did. Because I always I always pushed it aside. So here I am reveling in the memory that is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Considered him the civil rights leader of our time. I talked about the people who had said things about him. Jackie Onassis Kennedy, or Jackie O, famously had tapes revealed about her where she was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in scathing ways. And even then, they did not reveal what she really said. And what she accused Dr. Martin Luther King of doing that she knew about or she was told about, they kept in the dark. And I listened to those tapes yesterday, and they are awful. If people knew what she said about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., her legacy would be literally demolished. What she said was scathing. And then there's one thing that I've always had to reconcile with. One of the biggest issues in my career have been three. It has been the black community, abortion, and immigration. They are the three things that I know better than my own Social Security number. And I've never been able to rationalize why Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is the first recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award, an award that promotes abortion, predominantly in the black community. And there is the first thread that destroys everything. And I should have looked there. I've always sort of looked aside from that and just said, he was obviously duped. But right there, that in and of itself is exactly what I'm talking about. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would promote eugenics within the own black community, while the woman wrote that we needed to get African American clergy and their religious leaders to promote Planned Parenthood or abortion in their communities. And he did, and he was awarded for it. We'll be back. More news, more views, and you can shake a stick at it. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's get weather with Matt Benz and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you. And if you're traveling southbound side of 91, delays 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford, again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing east Hartford approaching the Bothia Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue, moving down into the tunnel. Looks good, 291, 384, 2 westbound's in good shape, 1D up to the 84 west merge. 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. Again, 9 northbound slowing 32, the 36 as you move Berlin into the New Britain area. Westbound 691 tied up from exit 7 up to exit 8A. We've got an accident or a problem on the right shoulder. Looks like it's just west of the 691 interchange on westbound 84. So that's backing things up, approaching the 691 interchange. If you're heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. And South 95 New Haven tied up 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. Before our children get to school, they're on the roads, on sidewalks, in crosswalks, riding bikes, and waiting for buses. So put away the distractions and slow down. School's in. Drive smart. A message from the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association and Connecticut DOT.
WTIC weather.
Forecast pattern looking quiet here across the region for much of the upcoming week, though there could be some showers towards the coast on Wednesday. As we transition from this afternoon and into tonight, turning out partly cloudy, a cool one for tonight with a low 47, lower 40s though for many outlying areas. Tomorrow, another beautiful day, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 74. Clouds will thicken up through tomorrow night, low of 53, and mostly cloudy for Wednesday, perhaps some showers towards the coast with a high of 71. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
71 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have released the sexually suggestive birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein, which appears to carry Donald Trump's signature. Trump says he did not write the letter, and he's suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion after it broke the story. Homeland Security says it's moving forward with stepped-up immigration enforcement in Chicago. One of the suburbs is warning residents.
Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss says they've received a credible tip about immigration agents working in their city just north of Chicago.
We wanted to activate the networks of individuals who've been working on rapid response, and they're all standing at the ready.
Leaders of the city of 76,000 have already banned local police from working with federal agents on civil immigration cases and wearing masks. They've also turned off their automatic license plate readers after a state official found data was being illegally shared with federal law enforcement. Nancy Hardy for CBS News, Chicago.
A Homeland Security spokesperson claims they're targeting, quote, the worst of the worst. The French government is fini, or finished. President Emmanuel Macron will search for a fourth prime minister in 12 months. That's after lawmakers voted no confidence in Prime Minister Francois Bayrou. He wanted to slash public spending to repair the country's debt. At least 8 people are dead northwest of Mexico City, where a train collided with a double-decker bus, 45 people injured. Doctors are concerned with Florida's decision to phase out childhood vaccine requirements. Dr. Celine Gounder is a CBS News medical contributor. She says Florida doesn't have data to calculate the impending damage.
Did they make projections as to how many more infections, how many more emergency room visits, hospitalizations? What will it mean for missed school? What will it mean for parents having to stay home from work because their kid is sick? So, and without those kinds of projections, you can't make estimates as to what hospitals need to be doing to prepare.
Meantime, Senator Richard Blumenthal is demanding HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. reverse his cancellation of millions for research on mRNA vaccines. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 114, S&P climbed 14 points, the NASDAQ was up 98 to a record 21,799. In sports, Red Sox at the Athletics. It's on WTIC with the pregame at 9:05 p.m. Garrett Crochet on the mound. Mets in Philadelphia. The Giants say Russell Wilson is still their starting quarterback, even after their offense fizzled again yesterday. They're underdogs again in Dallas next Sunday. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Low testosterone affects many men today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low T treatment isn't so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick. As a Promedic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get you the right treatment for your particular medical situation. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improved mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Going, Terry. Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we got more news and more views coming up in the next hour and a half, so make sure you stand by for that. We've got Hollywood news coming up, and of course, Spike Lee and Denzel Washington are back together for a 5th time doing another movie. What did they do? Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, Inside Man. Well, now they did another film called The Highest and the Lowest. I watched it over the weekend. I'll give my review, so stand by for that. I don't have a lot of nice things to say about it. And also, as I said, I'm looking online, and the conversation is growing online, especially on X, at these reports that gangs are warning the Trump administration against coming to the city of Chicago. And, what was it that that Rush used to call it? On the cutting edge of societal, was it, what do you say, the cutting edge of societal, gosh, it's been that long, hasn't it? I don't consider myself that, but I kind of feel like I can see stuff coming. Not clairvoyant, I just get a sense of it. I just know that this is going to, especially in the online space, it's just growing, that sentiment's growing, so we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I don't know who's getting trolled here, but we will. Also coming up, stand by for this. So this this growing controversy about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which is going to happen when this documentary, the MLK Project, comes out. People will be forced out of the woodwork. Societal evolution. Thank you, Craig. The people who are going to come out and fight for the legacy and the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Will be endless. But there are some things that they're not going to be able to dispute. And the interesting part of this that I saw is where this happened in sort of points in our history, the civil rights history, begins with a rift between two men very few people talk about. You might remember back in the day, Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a rift that many people have poo-pooed and dismissed. But there was an earlier rift between two very huge men in the African-American diaspora. And those two men are Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. And when we come back, I'll read a little bit about their rift. And then another story that's also now turning out to be a hoax, the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. I'll explain. Let's get to weather and traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're making your way into Hartford right now, look for some delays southbound side of 91, 33 Jennings Road down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound side of 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows just after 56 Governor Street out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing, approaching 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound tight, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown slowing, Harbor Park to the Irrigotti Bridge again. 9 northbound tight, 32 in Berlin up to 36 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84, look for some slow traffic as you move up by the 691 interchange between 27 and 26. Looks like a problem on the right shoulder. Again, some slow traffic approaching the Mixmaster. Heading toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
This report is brought to you by Moderna.
mNEXSpike COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna has arrived. To learn more and find it near you, visit mnexspike.com. That's mnexspike.com.
WTIC weather.
Another great day here across the region, and what will kick off what will be a really nice stretch of weather outside of Wednesday here for the rest of this week. For the remainder of this afternoon, heading up to a high of 72 this evening, and tonight clearing out, cooling off, low 47. Lower 40s in many outlying areas. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant, high of 74. Coastal storm will bring some more clouds into Wednesday. Should stay dry for most, though some showers towards the coast with a high of 71. We're back into the 80s as we head into Thursday and Friday. Right now, it's 70 in Farmington, 73 in Windsor Locks, and 72 right here in Hartford. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's summertime. If you're between the ages of 17 and 25, now's the time to check your wisdom teeth. Impacted wisdom teeth can cause a lot of unnecessary pain, so let Columbia Dental remove them sooner than later. Call 860-645-0111.
We have something to buzz about. Call the B. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the B is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit calltheb.com. That's callthelletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
ALO Home Services. Same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say, hello, ALO, call for details. License number HIC 628926, P102776688, S1041347, D104014665, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Your
could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and skills that set you apart in today's job market. Designed for working adults, focused on the future. Classes start September 17th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the Radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans.
On News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
It is a busy Monday here on Reese on the Radio, and we've got news coming in from everywhere. We'll talk a little bit about those vaccines when we get a chance, because I know their phones are lit up for them. In fact, I'll take those calls now since we're on them, and then we'll get into this discussion about W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington and how this all relates to the conversation about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and then Black Lives Matter. It appears, at least from what my research has sort of allowed me to go to, that there appears to be a running pattern in all of this. And controversial as it may be, I guess we're just going to have to go down that road. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Bill in Torrington. Thanks for holding, Bill. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Reese. Yourself?
I'm all right. What do you got for me?
I wanted to let you know how much I related to your opening when you were talking about watching sports events as a person who's sober. I'm a sports nut, and when I first went into AA, I went in not with a chip on my shoulder, but with a boulder, and thought my life was over. Fortunately, I found that wasn't true. These the people that I was going to meetings with, like myself, had issues, but also had fun, had dances, and did get together to watch sports on TV or actually go to a game. And in one case, I was actually the bench coach for our team in the Silver Softball League.
Not bad. Well, that's what, and again, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later near the end of the show, but thank you for sharing that. And, this is as we call it, we call it a fellowship of attraction, not promotion, but I appreciate
Absolutely.
I appreciate you sharing that, because that's a vulnerable place to be, to talk about that. But if you are, if you're in your right spirits, if you're in the right place, you celebrate your sobriety, not like we did when, as you said in the beginning, those of us who were ashamed of admitting that we had a problem. So I just want to tell you thank you and good on you, man. God bless you.
As a friend of mine was going to say, have a great rest of your day unless you've made other plans.
You got it, sir. I appreciate you. Let's go to Sam in West Hartford. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Reese, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. What's up?
So I called to change the subject real quick again and talk about Long Island audit and disgraced Sergeant Fahey.
Oh, you got it. Wait a minute. Hold on now. I got so much to get into with that. Can you hold for me real quick? Let me get some other guys out of here, and I promise I'll deal with you in the next break.
Yes.
I
yes,
promise.
Sir.
Okay. Because that's going to throw me off. Let's go to Steve in South Windsor. How are you, Steve? 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 Okay, maybe not. Let's go to Dave. Dave's calling. Hey, Dave, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Reese?
What's up?
On the vaccines, I'm agnostic on the vaccines.
I know.
We're talking about the thimerosal with the mercury in it as a preservative.
Uh-huh.
And I want to say I grew up in an age when the standard antiseptic, when you got a boo-boo or a big cut, was mom got out the mercurochrome, which was a rather red, bromine.
Yes, like a red dye kind of deal, right?
Yes, and they drizzled it into the open cut.
Yeah.
Probably 1,000 times the human dose that an infant would get, from the tiny amount that's in a vaccine.
Right.
And people have to stop overreacting. Yes, mercury is neurotoxic, and radiation is bad for you. And yet, if they sterilize the vaccine with radiation, that would mean with X-rays or gamma rays.
Yeah.
People have in their mind you're giving them a radioactive dose, which is not true. Gamma ray is like high-octane light.
But okay, you know what? That being said, Dave, now hold on. Now, just as a pushback, as an aside here, let me go back and forth with you because you know this and I don't. And I'm going to come at you with sort of like the basic logic of the everyman here. Is that fair? Can we have a discussion with you knowing and me kind of being a nobody who knows nothing?
Sometimes the guy who doesn't know enough gets a better understanding.
Okay.
He sees the forest and not the tree.
Great.
So
Let me read this, okay? Because as I read earlier about as it pertains to the Geyer family, the father and son, right? They were the ones who put out this video pushing back on, the fact that this was inside vaccines, right? And they were being debunked by the CDC. No published reports, but here's the best part about all of this. So the CDC states that Thermosol shows no evidence of harm in vaccines. When I went to go look up what were the testing they did, none I could find. But they just said that it didn't, okay? Now, they hired David Geyer recently. He was appointed by RFK to advise on vaccine safety at HHS. Now, with all of that, so then I went one step further. I asked this question. Is Thermosol used in vaccines? And the answer it gave me was yes. But here's where it got interesting. It says it's used as a preservative in some multi-dose vials of influenza vaccines to prevent contamination. It's been removed from all routinely recommended childhood vaccines in the U.S. since around 2001. The Thermosol-free alternatives are available for flu shots as well. In June of 2025, the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted no longer recommend the use of multi-dose flu vaccine vials containing Thermosol, a decision adopted by HHS in July of 2025. But the 2001 change, what caused that if they are telling us that there was no problem with using it? Why did it change? Because of people asking about it or people's concern about it? Or did they find something that they didn't want us to know?
I think it's mostly the public fear, the specter of injecting my baby with mercury. And I would see, I'm kind of iconoclastic. I don't want to give you a yes or no.
Okay.
What is the alternative preservative?
Right.
Much like DDT killed mosquitoes.
Right.
And it wasn't not very poisonous to human beings.
Right.
You could eat a spoonful of it and there'd be no trouble. The problem is, once it got in you, it didn't go out. And it just built up over the years, over time. It got in breast milk.
Right.
Fat.
Well, the DDT thing, the DDT argument in Africa was they thought that banning DDT was more important than solving malaria deaths in Africa. They kind of left Africa to its own devices.
So you know the story.
Yes,
in
I
World
do.
War II, millions of servicemen would have died from malaria if we didn't spray the jungles with DDT out in the Pacific,
Right.
et cetera. And so there is an equation there.
Yes.
I want to kind of leave it off with this. If you didn't put the preservative in the vaccine, fungus, a very low form of life that once it gets into your body, it's hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
You don't want your baby getting a systemic fungal infection,
Right.
which might go to the brain. And people would be really upset if we didn't have perfectly sterile vaccines. And mercury, in my opinion, is a simple molecule that doesn't really build up in your body. It tends not to stick around because it's a liquid at room temperature. It gases off, and you get rid of it over time. The problem is, what if the mother feeds the baby swordfish or some other environmentally mercury contaminated food, and then it starts building up on the residue of the vaccine? I think that's where the problems come from.
Gotcha.
But people just get buggy about mercury. It's poisonous.
Mercury is just one of those things, buddy. I mean, you know it as well as I do. Mercury is just one of those things where you hear it's being ingested. If all you have to do is be the lay person who's ever taken a science class. You hear that they're putting mercury in the body, they go batty.
And I got to tell you, as a promoter of this, though I have no stock in it,
Right.
the crap they put on food to preserve it, I'd way rather have it get a dose of X-rays, and then it stays sterile for years, literally.
Right.
And there's nothing left over in the food, but the American public will not tolerate it. They think you're getting a dose of radiation, which it absolutely is not. When the gamma rays are turned off, the strawberries are not radioactive, and they'll preserve for a month at room temperature. And you say, how come we don't do that?
Right.
But we're so afraid of radiation.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with mercury, but I am agnostic. It may be there's subtle damage to the baby.
Because that's a very vulnerable, undeveloped immune system. There's a lot of stuff there.
I think we talked enough about it.
Yes, sir.
On to the next caller.
You got it, boss man. Thank you. Let's go to Joe in New Hampshire. What's up, Wall Street?
Hi, two big things. One for Roseanne, and the first one's for you.
Yeah.
You're talking about the gangs warning Trump, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I told you a long time ago. All of this goes back to the Mexican drug lords, Central American drug lords. The president of Mexico, nice lady, she is controlled by the cartels, and she's not going to do anything that really helps Trump out.
Mhm.
You know, a few token arrests, people that were going to be executed anyway, they throw them to the wolves. But here, you've got a threat. That threat comes from Mexico and Central America to Trump. So Trump sends them in. There's going to be all-out warfare between the drug cartel lords, not the street gangs of Chicago,
Right.
but by extension. And you're going to see a bloodbath on both sides, and that's when the war really begins.
You really believe that, you're talking about in the streets of Chicago, you believe that the cartels are going to take that war to the streets?
Absolutely. That's what they do in Mexico and Central America.
I don't, listen.
Unfortunately, they've gotten a foothold in the cities of the United States.
Well, that they do. But that they do. But
the mayor of Chicago is compromised. He's
Joe,
gotten cartel money.
Joe, let me tell you what I'm seeing here. First of all, if you look at the difference between those gangs, right? They're talking about the black gangs versus the cartel gangs that are obviously there. I'm not saying that they're not there. They are ruminating through that city. But my deal here is that there are two different kinds of stealth in all of this. Most of the black gangs just roam around in their inner city where they'll run through the blocks and shoot up each other. They will not be in downtown. They never will be. They'll be in some sets, and if they do go downtown, it's on Friday and Saturday nights during the summer very late. But they are never there. In their own neighborhoods, they'll shoot it up in a heartbeat. The cartels, for the other part, are very stealthy. They want no public. That's the biggest problem they have with the black gangs, is that they're all out in the open shooting up streets. Cartels do not operate like that. They wish to be anonymous. So that's why I don't see that if the National Guard were to come through, I don't think that you're going to see the all-out wars that you would see in, like, with the Medellin in Guadalajara. Like, you're not going to see that. I don't think that's going to happen in Chicago.
The threats are coming this way, and the reason why the mayor of Chicago and all the politicians are they seem to be on the side of the cartel and the gangs because they've already been bought out.
Yeah, that's what Roseanne believes. Roseanne believes that wholeheartedly.
Once they've accepted the millions and millions of dollars, they can't say, well, you know what, I'm done with it. No, the cartels will have the mayor, his family executed like they do in the other countries. I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with me. But
No, I'm not. Listen, again, I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying that the way those folks operate, they are not, they have a big problem with overexposure. They're much like, like the old Italian mob. What was the biggest problem that the old school mob had with John Gotti? They was too flashy and too out in the public. That was open. That was widely known that the reason why Gotti was such a problem to the old guard in the so-called Cosa Nostra was the fact that he was flamboyant and everywhere and always in the paper. They hated that because they were very stealthy. What was the other thing you wanted to say to Roseanne?
Dream home. I told you almost 2 months ago about Ghislaine Maxwell's house up on the top of the mountain in New Hampshire.
I thought it was sold.
Well, the rumor now is the Clintons bought it with a straw buyer because they've been up there and they love it. It's like another home for them. Seriously, straw buyer on behalf of the Clintons. That's the rumor.
Right.
But that's the top of the mountain, $2.5 million. But
I love my wife, but she is not getting a $2.5 million house with like 83 bathrooms.
No. And I'm breaking the news for Connecticut. I found this out last week. I've already talked to George Norrie last week about it. He plans on being at the public auction.
Okay.
You can bid on this home. How does this sound? Just over the Connecticut border in western Rhode Island, Burrillville, Rhode Island. It's about a mile over the border, in the hilly section of western Rhode Island. 8.5 acres. The home is 320 years old, built right after 1700. And it's a farmhouse, 3,023 square feet. And it was purchased last in 2022 by a lady, Jacqueline, I won't give her last name, from Massachusetts. And in the last 3 years, she's gone totally insane. She's on the lam. They think she's killed herself. The house is, and you're big on movies. Remember The Conjuring?
Sure.
This is the home of The Conjuring.
Okay.
The actual home. And it's going to be public auction because it's foreclosure. And it's going to be on, of all days of the year, you've got plenty of time to prepare for this.
Halloween?
Doing interviews.
Is it going to be on Halloween?
It's going to be on Friday, October 31st at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. You could go, do your interviews. Maybe you want to bid on it. Maybe it'll go for $50.
You know, I doubt it.
Anyone who's ever been associated with the home that's bought it has gone mad, killed themselves, whatever.
Yes, so I should definitely put some money in the game. I got to go, Joe, but thank you. I appreciate it. I will be keeping an eye on that auction now that he's mentioned it. Craig in the car says, we can do 1.6. You don't want this house, Craig. Let's get to weather and traffic. Matt Benz has got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. The Conjuring. Like I would get a haunted house. What are these people? They don't know me.
No way.
Yeah, who would ever would you live in the Amityville house?
No.
Of course not.
No. I want to have a nice, peaceful night's sleep. I don't want any ghost or any paranormal activity going on when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah. Can you imagine that the house told them when they moved in, get out? I'm going, I'm out. See ya.
Yeah. They wouldn't have to say it twice.
Exactly.
To me, this traffic report being brought to you by Amplify CT. And we do have an accident at 84 eastbound now in Southington between exit 31 and 32. It's just after exit 31 in the left lane. Looks like state police just arrived on the scene there, so use caution. After that, it's slowing again. About a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing just after 56 Governor Street out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, a little tight down by exit 28. More slow traffic as you move 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Easy ride northbound 91 Cromwell up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay, 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge to the 84 west. 9 north and southbound a little slow at the Aragoni. 84 westbound Waterbury delays 22 into the Mixmaster. If you're heading toward New Haven, southbound Parkway a little tight 60 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Did you know that Connecticut has regional suicide advisory boards that help to eliminate suicide by focusing on prevention and postvention response? Learn how you can be part of the solution. Visit amplifyct.org to learn more and to amplify our mental health. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a comfortable afternoon across the region, where temperatures reach the 70s, we're in for a quiet forecast over the next couple of days. So we will see more clouds towards the midweek as a coastal low brings some showers towards the coast. For tonight, turning out partly cloudy, and it will be cool, low 47. Lower 40s, though, for many outlying areas. Tomorrow, Sunday to partly cloudy, pleasant day, high 74. Increasingly cloudy tomorrow night, low 53. And mostly cloudy for Wednesday, high 71. Showers towards the coast. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
72 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Primary day is tomorrow. In just a few of the contests, 6 candidates are trying to win the Democratic nomination for mayor of Hamden. Mayor Lauren Garrett withdrew from the race this summer. 2 slates of candidates will compete for town council in Bloomfield before the council itself chooses a new mayor. Former Whalers national anthem singer Toni Harrington is mayor for now after Danielle Wong resigned before her term was up. The conservative Supreme Court gives President Trump more room to crack down on immigrants.
By a 6-3 vote, the justices lifted a restraining order imposed by a federal district judge who ruled that, quote, roving patrols were conducting indiscriminate arrests in Los Angeles. The judge barred agents from stopping people solely based on their race, language, job, or location. She said there was a, quote, mountain of evidence that the agents' tactics were violating the Constitution. The administration appealed to the High Court, arguing that the order wrongly restricted the factors that immigration agents can use when they decide who to stop. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor says people are being targeted for their looks and their accents. The administration says increased enforcement is underway now in Chicago. Chief Justice John Roberts is also allowing the president to fire a member of the Federal Trade Commission.
It's the latest in a string of high-profile firings the High Court has allowed at federal agencies, effectively abandoning its own precedent that protected some agencies from arbitrary presidential action. Lower courts had blocked the president's bid to remove FTC member Rebecca Slaughter after she sued, since the law says commissioners can only be removed for cause. The Justice Department argues the president's free to remove any executive branch agency members without cause. Roberts has now halted the lower court decisions after the Trump administration appealed. He wants Slaughter's lawyers to respond by next week. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
A defense attorney says a man charged with killing 2 men in New Haven was acting in self-defense. Sergio Thomas is accused of fatally shooting Daquan Hyman and Ernest Williams also 2 weeks ago on Dickerman Street. A judge today upped his bond to $3 million. The United Way of Connecticut proclaiming 988 Day on this September 8th. That's the state's suicide and crisis lifeline, which was shortened from an 800 number to the simple 988 a few years ago, leading to an increase in calls. Lisa Tepper Bates is the State United Way CEO.
In just the last 3 years, would you believe we have had 2.5 times the number of callers in 2025 compared to 2022? And we really believe that is because of that high profile of that 3-digit national dialing code 988.
The line is staffed 24/7, and of course it's confidential, providing resources and support. 988 fielded 55,000 calls last year. Animal abuse reported in the state up 37% in the last 2 years. That's leading Senator Richard Blumenthal to reintroduce his Better Care for Animals Act. It would tighten federal penalties, boost enforcement, and remove animals being harmed.
We're dealing here with a problem that reflects our humanity, our fundamental caring for each other as well as for animals, because animal abuse is directly associated with domestic abuse.
The bill co-sponsored by Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. The big reveal from Apple comes tomorrow. It's iPhone 17.
The annual iPhone event at Apple's headquarters in Cupertino on Tuesday is expected to center on the new iPhone Air, which will be the thinnest and lightest iPhone ever made, and has several Wall Street analysts optimistic that the Air will add some extra vitality to iPhone sales this holiday season. The Air is expected to be 5.5 millimeters thick, about 2 millimeters thinner than the iPhone Pro versions, although there will be trade-offs, including shorter battery life. A Wells Fargo analyst note says the new iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max models are expected to see price increases between $100 to $300 compared to the iPhone 16 models.
CBS's Jason Brooks. That means the starting price for the Air could be between $900 and $1,000. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 114, S&P climbed 14 points, the NASDAQ was up 98. In sports, Red Sox at the Athletics. It's on WTIC with the pregame at 9:05 p.m. The Mets in Philadelphia. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's Hypnosis February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food. Crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works.
It's amazing. I can breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport, and Weight Loss Seminar 5:30. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express, Southington. Weight Loss Seminar 11 a.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back, and you know what time it is. It's Hollywood News. Normally, I would go to the movies for Hollywood News, but it turns out that my Apple subscription got me to Hollywood News today. And I did the god-awful thing. And it's funny when you're just, you're lying in bed, you want to watch a movie, wife and I are just chilling out. And we're like, hey, let's find a movie to watch. I'm like, okay, so I figure I'm going to go to my little website where I can, find any latest movies. And I'm going through, Apple TV and seeing what latest movies are out. Maybe we can get them. And I see it was like, oh, wait a minute. The new Spike Lee joint is out. Not that I would ever run to a Spike Lee joint. Although he did do one film that was about the World War II. About World War II. I thought that was actually a pretty good movie. Very troubling film. Anyway, I remember that. And that was actually pretty good. But this is the fifth movie with Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. I can't remember all of them, but I know there was The Inside Job. I know there was Malcolm X. I know there was Mo Better Blues. I can't think of the other ones that were on there. But this, again, the fifth movie out of all of them. Maybe somebody can tell me what one of them was. But this one's the highest to the lowest. And I watched it. And it's supposed to be about Denzel Washington as a washed-up music mogul. Very, I don't know, P. Diddy-esque. There was a degree of that. But only in the sense of, he's a music mogul. Not that he had any scandal with him, but apparently he was from the streets. When we get back, I'll tell you exactly how awful this was. I feel bad that it was this bad. It was just awful. We'll talk about it. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of I-91, look for delays 33 down at 32 A and B. And then you'll see another delay, a little slowdown between exit 20 and 19 as you move down into Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up from approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 44 Prospect Oakwood, 84 eastbound slowing, approaching 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. We do have an accident in Southington. It's 84 eastbound between exit 31 and 32. It's just east of exit 31. It's taking out the left shoulder and a little bit of the left lane, so a little bit of a curiosity delay with that. Westbound 84 Waterbury's tied up 22 to the Mixmaster. If you were heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Not a bad one here as we head through this evening and tonight. A bit on the cool side, though, falling down to a low of 47. Lower 40s, though, for many outlying areas. So a jacket probably needed here as you head out the door tomorrow, but you can quickly shed it. Another nice day. Sunny to partly cloudy. Look for a high of 74. Coastal storm will bring some more clouds to the area tomorrow night into Wednesday. Not a big impact directly from the system, but we'll see more clouds here for Wednesday. Dry here in the Hartford area, though, as you head towards the coast. Could see a shower in spots. Temperatures in the lower 70s and looking much better after that for the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, looking at more sunshine with temperatures returning to the upper 70s to around 80. Right now, it's 70 degrees in Manchester, 73 in Rocky Hill, and in Hartford, it's 70 degrees. This is meteorologist Matt Bunz in the WTIC Weather Center.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume by New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair aisle at your local CVS.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
This is another movie that you're...
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Oh, hold still. This is only going to hurt a little. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. Anyway, as I was saying about the highest to lowest film with Denzel Washington, it was straight and absolute trash, garbage. That's all I can say. It was a waste of time. We had checked out very, very early. There was nothing worth watching this thing. Denzel Washington, the last great movie I watched him in was The Equalizer 3. I don't know why he did this, why he would. I don't even know what I was watching or what I was supposed, what message Spike Lee was trying to send in this film. It was an absolute joke, and no one's talking about it. So I just wanted to mention it was garbage, and that's it. So moving on. Let's get to this Malcolm X thing. Martin Luther King thing. I want to get to this because this is important. And where this is going to go in the next couple of weeks when this documentary comes out is going to be a really, really big discussion. Because it takes the veil off of so many people, especially Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And there is a lot of accusations in this documentary and in other publications. And I would suggest if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, you should. Because a lot of what we're seeing today has come from the past, and it all is rooted in Marxism, in cultural Marxism. And it starts here with Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. I believe his last name is pronounced Dubois, but they say Du Bois. And the two of those men were very influential in the 19th century. And Booker T. Washington, who I've come to respect as I've gotten older, was a guy who believed, Up From Slavery, which was his book, talks about how newfound Americanism in slaves who were free could utilize their talents to become a part of the fabric of America. And this was being shouted down by the likes of W.E.B. Du Bois, who was the figurehead of the NAACP. And in his role as the leader or the figurehead of the NAACP was to consistently and overwhelmingly endure and burden Black lives with the idea that they were less than and needed white folks to survive. But not by begging for it, by demanding it, by constantly going over the theme of how they had wronged them. Right? It was sort of like this pressure system of this is what you did to us and this is what you owed us. That was his theme. Just went on and on and on over time. And there were many of the intellectuals who were a part of the faction of W.E.B. Du Bois who considered Booker T. Washington to be an Uncle Tom, even though he was teaching blacks to become entrepreneurs, to fend for themselves, to learn trades. He was inspiring black men in the South to move north and buy property, which they did. And this led to what? This led to what was called the Harlem Renaissance. If you look at a book, which is what, what's his name? Jackson, Chad Jackson, talks about. He talks about this book, which is 100 years of Harlem. Talks about a century of Harlem. And it goes through what Harlem looked like at the Harlem Renaissance to where it was after the Civil Rights Movement. And it all goes to hell. And according to him, according to Jackson, what he's suggesting here is that when we started to see the urban decay was during the Civil Rights Movement, when folks like Black Lives Matter leaders, not Black Lives Matter, I apologize, the Black Panther movement, and of course the Civil Rights Movement started telling blacks that everything that they had wasn't worth anything because it did not include whiteness. What does that mean? Let me give you an ugly example that people ignore. The boycott of the bus system, the story of Rosa Parks. One of the jokes that people say that, did you know that Rosa Parks had a car? Yes, of course. Yes, of course she did. Her family had a car. But this story was important because what Martin Luther King was using was to integrate the bus system in Alabama. To integrate it, that whites needed to let blacks sit in the front of the bus. And this was something that everyone had to focus on. In spite of the fact that blacks already had their own bus system, that they could ride anywhere on the bus. Now, many people would argue, but you're just self-segregating. Well, that was a fabric of slavery. But after the Emancipation Proclamation, many blacks flourished. They started businesses. They owned farms. They had neighborhoods. They built houses. They lived and took care of their own and got college degrees and went to school and educated themselves. Booker T. Washington is an example of that. He was funded by plenty of people in the North. By the way, if you ever read his book, you will know that there were people, white folks in the North, who would send Booker T. Washington money so that he could establish the school, that he would teach young black men and black women to fend for themselves. And he was so successful that people bought land when they moved up north. But Du Bois and the NAACP, they wanted turmoil. While they were being funded every year since their inception, never did they use that money to do the things that Booker T. Washington did. It was used to advocate for other things and promote themselves. Sound familiar? Has the NAACP done anything for the black communities they claim to champion? No. Have they started any job programs? Have they created any businesses? No. They get donations every day, every year from major corporations. They line their pockets while they provide nothing for the communities that they serve. Why? Probably because you need a problem in order to have a solution, right? Or a so-called solution. We'll keep the problem going so that we can keep collecting the money. It's a grift. It always will be. It's a grift. They continue to get more and more money. They hold all of these great, great events. But no one gets richer, wealthier, or prosperous, and they never save a life. They're not made to. And that went on from Booker T. Washington to W.E.B. Du Bois. Same thing with Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. What was Malcolm X talking about? He was saying we didn't need the white liberal. We didn't need white folks to give us our own. We needed to establish our own. We needed to have our own. We used to have that. And I'll even go one step further. I made this big argument not so long ago. I remember when we had to have the Soul Train Music Awards, the BET Awards, the NAACP Image Awards. We needed to have this black award and that black award. Why? Because the big argument was we ain't going to wait for the white folks to give us our accolades. We ain't going to wait for the white folks to give us our flowers. We going to make our own. And we'll celebrate ourselves. But then some people came around and said that that was self-segregation. And so what did they do? They then flipped it to start extorting those organizations, telling them that we needed to ban them and boycott them until they gave us what we wanted. They changed the rules, made sure that you accepted black, introduced black, encouraged black, become black practically, in order for you to assuage your guilt. That's what the whole Great Society was. Lyndon B. Johnson was just worried about votes, but those so-called black leaders, they were using like, wow, if I could get government to move on this, I could get everybody to move on this. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says, hey, if I could get the government to give us what we want, imagine what we can't do. And that's all that's about. And the next thing you know, everything that black families built, all the wealth, all the prosperity that all of them built, all of a sudden goes down the drain. Their way of life, absolutely topsy-turvy. From a 26% single parent household rate to a 78% single parent household rate. All of that happening at the turn of the civil rights era. As soon as the grievance industry began, things got worse. I was watching every one of these videos, watching all of these people, these communities, these black neighborhoods, flourishing, these people walking around in suits and hats and driving cars, kids going to church, going to camp, being a part of the Boy Scouts, black neighborhoods, one in particular, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Remember that? Garrison and Pine. That's where the Gap Band gets its name from. You know, drop the bomb on me. Huh? Burn rubber on me. Remember all that? Yeah. The Gap Band. Garrison and Pine. That's where Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street existed. Do you know the story they don't tell you about after that so-called massacre or race riot? Do you know what they don't tell you? Is that happened in, 1921? And then people started to get videos of 1925 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, of Black Wall Street. And they were looking at this videotape of 1925 after the massacre, and it was weird because the entire community had been rebuilt. And guess who was there? No white folks, black folks. And the video shows them happy, going to church, going to school, walking through the neighborhood as Boy Scouts carrying the American flag after the so-called white racist massacre. I watched the video yesterday. It blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute, I thought that place wasn't it was rebuilt. And it was rebuilt, and it's had the same pride and standard it did before the massacre, so-called. But everybody was lied to. And everyone tried to bury that tape. Instead of celebrating the fact that those folks rebuilt, they buried it. Why would they do that? Because they wanted to sow animosity. That's all they wanted. Guess what I found out about Tulsa, about that town, Garrison and Pine? What ended it? When Lyndon Baines Johnson decided to put highways straight through the town, destroying 1,000 homes. And I looked up every one of the politicians that were responsible for that road, that highway going right through the town. I didn't find one Republican. Not one. From the mayor to city council to the state rep, the people who decided to destroy that town in the 50s, run a highway straight through it, and destroy 1,000 homes, Democrats. That's the reason why the town looks the way it does today. They rebuilt it and still destroyed it for a highway. I have some audio, and I'm going to play it tomorrow. I'm just going to wait until tomorrow. I'm going to play the Jackie O audio where she talks about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Audio you may not have heard before. And I'm also going to play some very, very inspiring audio from a man who was trying to warn people about the NAACP and W.E.B. Du Bois, the man who actually recorded, or the recording of him, he died very, very soon after. Many people thought it was a conspiracy, that he had been murdered, but he died in a car accident days after. But I'll play that for you tomorrow. When we come back, more news, more views, and we'll wrap the show up when we return. Let's get to some weather and traffic. Matt Benz has got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're traveling into Hartford, westbound side of 84, delays East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 44 Prospect Oakwood, 84 eastbound losing a little speed, 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91 delays 33 to 32. You'll see another bump as you move down into Meriden. Down by exit 19. Northbound side of 91, easy ride, Cromwell up into Winter Locks. Route 2 westbound, delays East Hartford, 1D up to the 84 West Merge. Quiet, 291 in 384 east of the river. 9 northbound, a little slow in Berlin, 32 up to 34 in New Britain. We do have an accident, 84 eastbound in Southington. It is just after exit 31, between 31 and 32. Left lane out there, stay to the right, a little bit of rubbernecking at that. If you are heading toward Waterbury, westbound 84 slows 22 to the Mixmaster. Southbound Parkway delays 60 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slowing in New Haven, 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic got you down. Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Forecast pattern looking quiet here across the region for much of the upcoming week, though there could be some showers towards the coast on Wednesday. As we transition from this afternoon and into tonight, turning out partly cloudy, a cool one for tonight with a low 47. Lower 40s, though, for many outlying areas. Tomorrow, another beautiful day, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 74. Clouds will thicken up through tomorrow night, low of 53. And mostly cloudy for Wednesday, perhaps some showers towards the coast with a high of 71. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
Well, vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080, always on your radio and on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. And now, a WTIC News Update.
71 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low around 50 tonight. Sunny tomorrow in the mid-70s. A defense attorney says a man charged with killing 2 men in New Haven 2 weeks ago was acting in self-defense. Darnell Crosland says murder suspect Sergio Thomas was defending his brother.
They were 3 men following his brother, and they had indicated and was captured on Ring door cameras that they were looking to kill his brother. When he approached the scene, his brother was on the ground, and one of the individuals took a knife out and tried to stab him.
The audio from WFSB, Thomas accused of fatally shooting Daquan Hyman and Ernest Williams on Dickerman Street Police say they have evidence that after the initial shooting, Thomas walked up to one of the dying victims and fired 4 more times. A judge today upped his bond to $3 million. Palestinian attackers opened fire on a Jerusalem bus stop during the morning rush. 6 people are dead, 12 wounded. Meantime, Israel struck and destroyed another high-rise in Gaza City after warning residents to evacuate.
After a terrorist attack in Jerusalem that killed at least 6 and a Hamas attack that killed 4 soldiers in Gaza, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged the 1 million Gaza City residents to flee. He said that Israeli soldiers are organizing and assembling for a ground maneuver in Gaza City. Meanwhile, Hamas said it was willing to discuss a new U.S. proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza, while Israel has not officially responded.
CBS's Linda Gradstein. The foreign minister of South Korea is on his way to the U.S. to finalize steps for the return of hundreds of workers detained in a controversial immigration raid in Georgia. Last week's raid on a Hyundai battery factory led to the detention of almost 500 people, mostly South Koreans, many seen in shackles. There's shock and anger in South Korea, a U.S. ally. Billions of dollars of investment in the U.S. could be in jeopardy. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 114, S&P climbed 14 points, the NASDAQ up 98. In sports, Red Sox at the Athletics, Garrett Crochet on the mound. It's on WTIC with the pregame at 9:05 p.m. The Mets in Philadelphia. Monday Night Football, Minnesota at Chicago. And the Giants say they're sticking with Russell Wilson at quarterback after they failed to locate the end zone again yesterday. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romances in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated, because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, make sure you download the Odyssey app today if you haven't, so you can always check out the podcast at Reese On The Radio right there in the Odyssey app, and you can check out the show. What had happened was, at the opening show, we broke down the Connecticut families who live in poverty in the state. It looks like, according to a report by the group called ALICE, which is Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed, says that you have to come up with at least $9,568 a month in order to survive in Connecticut. And that means that a family of 4 people have to make that amount of money. So it means that each parent in a 2-income household would have to pull in $4,784 a month that's how much that it would cost in order for them to survive. Also, stupidest thing I read today, there are reports that gangs in Chicago are warning the president not to bring the National Guard or expect all-out war. Talked about that a little bit. Also, we talked about The Day, the publication, as the editor-in-chief, who is Zakum Laranieta. I'm pronouncing that poorly. I know I am. She is standing by her decision to fire a columnist on in their publication, Dave Collins, after his back and forth with Representative Greg Howard. And we read that letter. So go to Odyssey app, download the Odyssey app, and check out the show for the things that you missed. Also, I gave my very, very limited review of Highest to Lowest, the Spike Lee movie that was not worth even reviewing. And I did. I have to make a correction. Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. That's the Gap band. I always forget for some other reason Greenwood. I always say Glenwood. It's Greenwood. Thank you. For the folks at the Green Party Elders Caucus, and congratulations to them, because who would have thunk the Green Party would be listening to Reese on the radio? Not that I think those people are, they're environmentalists, folks. And, I've had my arguments with the likes of those people. And, God bless them. I know they want to save the earth. I know they have good intentions. Now, how dare I criticize their intentions? Sure, they want to save the world. One Prius at a time. Thank you, Green Party. I'm ribbing you. I'm ribbing you. Somebody's going to tell me what I think they're going to tell me in a little bit about who the Green Party of what is it? Green Party Elders Caucus. Why are they the Elders Caucus? What does that even mean? Does that mean that they're older? I don't know. I've never even heard of them before. But anyway, thank you for the correction. I appreciate you. When we come back, we'll take some phone calls. We'll wrap this puppy up. Make sure, and I'll tell you what we're going to do tomorrow on the program. We got a lot of stuff to get into this week, so stand by for that. All right, Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center getting you home. Mark, how's it going out there?
It's going pretty well, Reese, this afternoon. If you are traveling on the eastbound side of 84, little tap of the brakes in the tunnel. That's about it. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91's losing speed, 33 down to 32 A and B. Quiet northbound 91, Cromwell up into Windsor. 291, 384 looking good. 2 westbound, no issues, Glastonbury and East Hartford. Quiet Middletown. 9 northbound losing a little speed between 32 and Berlin and 34 in New Britain. Westbound 84 Waterbury, a little slow as you approach the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some slow traffic 10 to 11. Southbound on the Parkway, you'll see slow traffic from exit 60 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
This report is brought to you by Moderna.
mNEXSpike, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna, is now available and easy to find near you. To learn more, visit mnexspike.com. That's mnexspike.com.
WTIC weather.
Just a couple lingering clouds across the area as we head into this evening should help to limit some of the sun glare before that sun sets. Otherwise, clear to partly cloudy here for tonight. On the cool side, low of 47. Outlying areas into the lower 40s. After a cool start to tomorrow, another beautiful day. Sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 74. Coastal low will deliver a few more clouds for Wednesday. We should stay dry locally, though. If you're heading down towards the coast, there could be a shower too. High of 71. After that, looking better by Thursday and Friday. Sunshine returning. Temperatures around 80 degrees. Right now, it's 71 in East Hartford, 75 in New Britain, and 70 right now in Hartford. This is meteorologist Matt Benz in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's callthelletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Actual price will depend on prescription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, it's time for us to get up out of here. But before we do, let's take some phone calls and wrap this puppy up. Tim is in Hamden. Hello, Tim.
Well, hi, Reese. I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Didn't learn about the 1921 Tulsa race riot till after. They certainly didn't ever teach anything like that local history. Greenwood, Archer, and Pine.
Thank you.
Yes, the name of the band, but that's also a downtown area. It's essentially, a area that has had at the time 3 or 4 story buildings and everything else. This was a tremendous loss. They were literally bombed by an airplane with people dropping incendiary devices and everything.
But it was rebuilt,
people,
right?
No, not really.
That's hold on. That's you say not really. What? Tell me not really. What do you mean by how much? Give me a percentage, Tim. Give me a percentage of what was rebuilt after the bombing, because I know the numbers. So tell me what was rebuilt. How much was the percentage of it? Was it 50?
The downtown building area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of what was incinerated. That was part of the riot. How much of it was rebuilt in 1925?
In 1925?
Yes, because I've seen the video from he was a reverend in the area, and he videotapes the entire town. He's a reverend, and he's in essence pretty much showing what life is like in that region, and he videotapes his church and many of his congregants and the neighborhood. It's all on video. You've never seen it before. I have, because I watched it. And the first thing that ran through my mind was, wait a minute. The Tulsa Massacre, as it's alleged, was in 1921. This video is from 1925.
Tulsa Massacre
Alleged massacre. I'm not saying that the race riot didn't happen. I'm using the word massacre as alleged. Tim, let's forget about all of that. I'm asking you a question. How much percentage of Tulsa, Oklahoma was rebuilt? How much of it was rebuilt?
Look, the Tulsa World was the newspaper my family worked for.
Again?
Everything. They reported on that, to begin with.
Okay,
know,
so was it rebuilt or
a lot
not?
of it was, yes, a lot of it was rebuilt.
How
because
much?
This was black. I don't know. He can. I would like to see. Can you?
The exact
share
number
link
is
to it?
78% of the community was rebuilt. The exact number,
Well,
78%.
before about
Let's go one.
1,000
Let's go one step further.
being destroyed, and
Let's
I'm
go.
like,
Let's go
what?
one step further. Let's go one step further. When it was rebuilt.
Yeah, black people had insurance; they could rebuild.
Okay.
yes.
Well, hold on. We were under the impression that during those times that black folks were redlined and couldn't either get insurance or bank loans.
Look, it was downtown. You crossed the tracks. You were in the black part of town.
But wait a minute.
okay?
This was Black Wall Street, and it was rebuilt. Yes or no? It didn't become White
Some of
Wall
it,
Street.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the blacks were able. Hold on. So the blacks in the community were able to come out of that massacre. Okay, we're talking about a massacre, which is in essence a massacre as it's defined is an elimination of people. But those people got back together and they rebuilt the community some 3-4 years later, and they are on videotape smiling and flourishing and celebrating the American flag.
They were very, I don't know the exact number of people who were killed in the massacre. I know that the stories are that 300 bodies were dumped in the Arkansas River.
And that is alleged, and
again,
there's never been a confirmation of the amount of people who died. Never.
So I don't know. There's a lot of people that, want to, if you pardon the expression, whitewash, the entire massacre.
That's right. There are people. See, here's the thing. This is the part that always makes me laugh about this whole argument about thing. So guess what? It can be assumed that the white man and the CIA and the devils in Washington infiltrated the inner city with drugs, crimes, prostitute, and guns. We are supposed to take that on its face. But we are not supposed to believe that there would be a group of people who would inject the idea that the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre may have been false, may have been fabricated, right? Because we can assume, wait. We can assume, remember, we're supposed to believe 300 people died, but you can't name them. Why can't you? So wait. The conspiracy can only be, The conspiracy, Tim, I'll be happy to you because like I said, I'm going to feature it on the show and we're going to get Chad Johnson on the show. Here's my problem. What I'm saying is that, when it comes to the folklore that does the obvious, right? Says that the black people were victims and the black people had this happen to them and the black people have this happen to them. When that folklore is actually established, everyone is supposed to agree with it. And if you challenge it, you're an Uncle Tom sellout Negro.
No.
But I asked the question, is there a likelihood? What if there's a likelihood that the things that we're being told are the truth are actual false? Because remember, we can inject anything into this conversation. And after we've investigated, it turned out to be a lie. So if it's supposed to be alleged that the CIA is infiltrating the inner city with drugs and guns and crimes.
You're going off on a wild-ass, thing that whatsoever. There is a group in Tulsa that you can speak with them, concerning this. If you want to allege to their face, that they've made up something or that nothing happened and stuff. I've seen certainly the film and footage of, that entire section of town being on fire.
I saw a section of town on fire as well. I watched that video.
Okay.
Did you see the entire city on fire?
The entire city?
I didn't see the entire city. I watched the video. Did you see the entire city on fire? You didn't. I know you didn't.
Please, if you don't understand that this is not the downtown Tulsa area.
Then what was it?
This is a separate area. This is it was a segregated area. It wasn't downtown Tulsa where the oil people and stuff.
But wait a minute. Again, when you ask every scholar on whether or not, and every black historian, if Black Wall Street, specifically Black Wall Street, was it rebuilt? The answer is not kind of. It is yes. So my argument is this, right? When you have a rebuilding of that, and you have a community, which again, if you're thinking about this from the level of which we were taught, right, when it was finally revealed and what happened, and people see that story and they go, oh my God, that's awful. Whatever happened to that community? And then you find out they rebuild it, and their resolve in there and their reverence for America is shown on film. Boy Scouts walking through the neighborhoods carrying the American flag. They didn't come out on the other side bitter at America, calling it bigoted and racist.
Very proud,
but why? But wait. You hold on. Stop, Tim. You have to ask me. Answer one question for me, Tim. Answer one question for me. These folks were lynched in a sense, right? Their whole community, everything they built was absolutely destroyed. They told us, America, let them die. They said, America, watch them die. They were culpable in watching them die. Why did they come out on the...
Tulsa, essentially, did this.
Why did they come out on the other side? Why did they come out on the other side? But wait a minute. Why did they come out on the other side stronger?
No. Stronger?
Yeah.
I don't know who's puffing that up.
Okay, let's go one step further. How's L.A. doing since the riots? How's South Central Los Angeles doing? Wait a minute. How is South Central doing post the riots? Is it doing better?
Is it doing better?
How about Watts?
I don't know. I can't speak to.
The answer is no.
Sort of stuff. But the businesses, the doctors, the attorneys, everybody else and that sort of stuff, who is not the same as it was before the 21 riot and stuff. And then you said something about 1,000 houses were destroyed by Johnson. It's like, okay,
they ran a highway through the town.
I know. I've been there. I live there.
Okay, so why did they build a highway? For a town that is important to Black history, why did Democrats, local and national, run a highway through it and destroy it? Why?
They didn't run a highway through it.
Why?
To destroy it, they built on roads and transportation. Absolutely.
Yeah, they claimed eminent domain into a historic Black community 25 years after it was destroyed. 25 years after it was destroyed, after they rebuilt it, Democrats came in and ran a highway through it.
Oh boy, I love it. Well, the Democratic Party, controlled the area, for a long time until the Republicans took over in the 70s and this stuff. I know the local, politics of that time. They built like a lot of, including Hartford and other places. They divide the city. Hartford is
it's okay, Tim. It's okay for you to just concede that they destroyed something they should have preserved. That's all. It's okay to say that, right?
No, it's okay to say that. It wasn't rebuilt like it was before.
But it was rebuilt.
It should have done it a lot more.
Yes, but what matter would listen to me? What would that have mattered? Because they were going to build a highway straight through the town anyway.
Not to the area of Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. That area is still down there. The buildings and stuff.
Well, at least they kept that.
Some movies and stuff.
I know.
Movies down there.
Okay. Listen, like I said, at least they kept part of it, okay? At least they kept part of it.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see somebody spin, something that with, false pride into their region. The people down there were very proud. They didn't have any place else to go.
Yeah.
Who would take them?
I know.
Come on, good grief.
Have
a wonderful night.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I love this whole day. The argument in the chat room is Dixiecrats, not Democrats. They are one and the same. See, this is that stupid spin. There's no such thing as a separation. They're all the same. Orville Faubus, was he a Dixiecrat? If he was, that again would make Bill Clinton a Dixiecrat. Was Al Gore Sr. a Dixiecrat? Well, that would make Al Gore Jr. a Dixiecrat. Was Robert Byrd, who also filibustered the Civil Rights Act with Al Gore Sr., was he a Dixiecrat? Well, he was a Democrat through and through. He survived the 21st century. And he was a Grand Kleagle. What are you talking about, Dixiecrats? It's a distinction without a difference. Just get used to it. That's who they are. I think the thing that you're trying to do, if I may address it, what you're trying to do in the chat room is this. You are trying to distance yourself from your obvious mistake. And that is you're trying not to be aligned with the party that is of slavery, that is of Jim Crow, that is of the Trail of Tears, that is of Andrew Jackson. You cannot be Dixiecrats and Democrats. You can't. You can't be both. You are. Because I would say this. This is what I'll say to you. Just go on the website for the Democrat Party. It establishes itself as the oldest political party in America. And if there is a difference between the Dixiecrats and the Democrats, that means that the Republican Party is the oldest political party in America. Because the Republican Party started in 1854. If you are suggesting that the Dixiecrats and the Democrats are two different things, that means that they started in the 1950s or 1940s. That would clearly not make them the oldest political party in the history of our United States. When you go on their website, and you can go back in the Wayback Machine, that's what it's called, they reference Andrew Jackson as the beginning of their party. There was no such thing as Dixiecrats, sir. Trying to pull the wool over my eyes is kind of silly, but nice try. I'll take Tom, who's in Hamden now. What's up, Tom? Oh, I can't, Tom. I'm sorry.
Time, bro.
I don't have time. Damn it. I just realized what the time was. Sorry, guys. Forgive me. That's okay. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. We will. I'll have audio sound bites in the whole 9 yards. It's time for me to get up out of here. Damn, it's Monday. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night. Pleasant tomorrow. Don't you go nowhere. You make sure you get back here at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Mark Christopher. Yeah, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. He's getting you home, Mark. Good night, sir.
You too, Reese. Have a great night. Quiet ride through Hartford right now, 8491 Route 22.
Yeah.
Moving very well, quiet.
Yes, sir.
Waterbury,
already
West
in the
Bend,
books.
a little slow.
you was trying to say, I'm like, oh, no, you can't take nobody. It's over.
If you're traveling,
I just realized it was over.
Up in Seymour, we have an accident between
All right.
exit 17
I
and
will
18.
see you manana.
Southbound Parkway,
See you manana. Enjoy your night, man.
Thank you, man. You
West
too.
Rock Tunnel, 95 southbound, slowing from 46.
You're a roast bread full. I'm sure that's a Jamaican thing. I'm not sure exactly what that means. So I have this audio, Donald, that I'm going to play tomorrow. I'm going to snippet it. And it's something that you should hear. It's ugly, nasty, and real. But sadly, when you write this thing about, how I make you sick, okay. This is kind of like my lot in life. And I realized it now. And I'm talking to you, not to anybody else, just to you, so we understand each other. And I'm not going to give the same diatribe that I always do at the end of this. Now, I've been trying really, really hard, and I've asked God, I've prayed on this for a long time, and I said, what is my role in all of this? Like, what am I doing this for now? Because I love this job, and I could do so many things. I could get up here and be silly and crack jokes and be uninformed and just talk about the news and complain all day. Like, what am I really, really here for? What am I doing? And I waited for an answer. And I thought about it, and I was working in my office yesterday. And as I was coming through all of this stuff, I just kept saying to myself, I think I need to do what I've always set out to do. And it sounds arrogant, but I get it now more than ever. And it was something that I read. I'm not going to say what it was about, what I read, but it was something that I read. And it was well put, but it blew me away. I used to jokingly say that I am here to free the slaves. Now I know. And it isn't in the traditional sense. It's not about slaves in the field. It's about slaves in the mind. And Donald, during the time of the Underground Railroad, not every slave wanted to run. Some slaves fought against it. Some slaves were so adamant about staying with their slave masters because they were afraid of the world outside. What we gonna do if we ain't with massa? We gotta stay. Many blacks, and I read the books. One of my favorite books called Life is Beautiful, written by a 96-year-old man who didn't know how to read. When he finally learned how to read, he told the story of his life. And he talks about how slaves were angry about the Emancipation Proclamation that freed them because they thought that without their slave master, they would die. They could not leave the plantation, so many stayed, begged to stay. And I understand those people now. Nothing ever changes, sir. It all stays the same. But when people talk about modern day slavery, they're talking about right here. And I intend on being free. And I will take anybody on this new Underground Railroad who will follow me. And if you don't, that's your prerogative. But you're curious. That's why you're here. And I'll accept that.